Hi guys, I want to make a short video about the negative reinforcement, which is all around us and dogs. Loads of trainer who claims that they don't use a negative reinforcement or punishments. They do. Um, they are. We have like a positive negative punishment. We have a positive negative reinforcement. Um, well known is positive reinforcement. So using for instance, like a treats for teaching a dog to like reward the dog for some good behavior. Some people ask me what kind of methods you use. This is wrong. The methods might be like targeting, luring, shaping, free shaping. That's the method. Or you can say like, oh, I use some whatever nepopo method for training the dog. It's like a system more. But I understand what you mean. Is like you give a treats or not. Every good trainer uses food or treats or toy to build up the motivation and reward the dog. The best trainer uses both. They use a negative and positive reinforcement. The negative reinforcement is something what we apply to the dog, and we reward the dog with removing some kind of discomfort. So for instance, I'm in the car now, and if I decide to drive without the seat belts, because I don't know, I drive to the Londis, which is pretty close, and I hear the sound beep 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 beep, I'm gonna use the seat belts to turn off the sound, and my brain will straight away receive some kind of comfort, and that's the negative reinforcement which we use for training. It might be a pressure which you put on your dog. Some trainers, they say, I've never used a whatever negative reinforcement. They don't really understand what they're saying because they put a halty on the dog's nose. And most of the people who claims they don't use a negative reinforcement, they actually use the negative reinforcement to teach some bad behaviors. So for instance, if you have like a little dog, young dog, who pulls you and you don't really care about his pulling, it's not like a 50 kilos American bully. It's a little York, and he pulls to some dog when he's young. He pulls to some dog to say hello, and you, okay, I just want to let him say hello, and you take it 2-3 steps forward, and eventually your dog approaches that dog, and you relax the leash. You provide a negative reinforcement, so you rewards his brain with a like you provide a comfort for some kind of behavior. So your dog learns, if I want to receive the comfort, I need to pull stronger. And in the end, there is of course motivation, like whatever needs to approach to something like a dog, kids. It might be some scent, and then there is reward. The reward, removing a pressure from the neck or harness, whatever you use. And another part of the reward is a satisfaction from contact or playing with other dog or picking up the treat. So you use it both. Use exactly the same method, what's the best trainer use, but you use this in the wrong way. And the negative reinforcement, which we use as a trainers, it might be a hand pressure, so I can luring the dog with a food to the ground and gently touch his shoulder and point into the ground. So later on, it's enough for me if I touch his shoulder, he goes into the ground, so I don't need to use treats. It's the same with a leash. So I have a flat collar and my dog wants to go on the left. I don't want to go on the left, and I create a pressure. I teach him to follow the pressure with the food. He follows the pressure. I remove the pressure from the neck and I provide the treat. So I use it both. The negative and positive reinforcement is the same with a e-collar. I set up the impulse that the dog barely feels, is like something like whatever, touching him with a finger, and I tells him, when you feel this, you do this and you get that, and he becomes very excited to feel this impulse. The clue is to use the proper proportion between the strength of the impulse and the reward. If you change the proportion, you have opposite results. So your dog, instead of to get loads of motivation to do some behavior, to repeat some behavior, you'll decrease his motivation. Okay, that's what the trainers do. We have to first create a motivation, the food motivation, the toy motivation, use the environmental price, introduce the tools, teach the owners how to reach the dog behavior, and then we start to use the tools. Okay, also when we have some reactive dogs or proactive dogs with aggression, so that's the difference. If we have a reactive dog, we don't put a e-collar on and we don't give a zap and correct the dog. The first, we build up the foundation, we introduce the tool which helps us to change the pattern, okay, with a behavior. So we cannot remove the aggression from the dog's soul and whatever genetic, but what we can do, we can show him the different pattern with a behavior, especially if we have a reactive dog. If we have a proactive dog with aggression, it's a little bit a different story, because they have a satisfaction from being aggressive. They like to bite the people, they like to bite the dogs, and there are some dogs like this. I know some trainers, they say, this is not true. You have never probably dealt with this type of the dogs. So there are different dogs, they are with different character, different genetic predisposition. So with every single dog, you need to set up the different training plan. But what I'm saying is the negative reinforcement is everywhere. It doesn't matter if you put a halter on and you squeeze the dog's mouth and you create a huge pressure on the neck, or you use a harness and you create another pressure on the shoulder and the dog extends the head forward and creates the huge pressure and the risk of injury of the neck. It doesn't matter. This is negative reinforcement. The idea is to use this smart, and the purpose of using the negative reinforcement is to build up the dog, to make the dog stronger, mentally stronger, happier, healthier, and be able to control the dog better in every environment. So I'm really annoyed about people who says that no, this is cruel. I think the worst what you can do, especially if you have a high energetic dog, high drive dog, and the dog, working lines dog, is just keeping at home or avoid a distraction. And this kind of advice you have to avoid. You have to turn around when he jumps on you. You have to give him a treat if he doesn't bark. This is not true. You're not changing the pattern of the behavior. So you need to understand what you're doing if you want to fix your dog. Not pretend, not distract him, because that's not the game, to distract the dog. You cannot distract the dog from the distraction. You need to understand what you're doing, and the tools helps. Because of the tools, we save hundreds of dogs' life, because they cannot end up the training with only positive reinforcement with treats. They have a different problems. The trainers, they say they cannot help, or this is owner's fault, and this is absolutely unfair, because this is not their fault. You can always be better, but it's not everything your fault. You have no idea what you got from the breeder. Sometimes the breeders, they have no idea what they sell. So loads of behaviors are imprinted or in some genetic predisposition. So this is not your always fault. It's important to understand the tools and use this smart. Take care. If you like it, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you want to hear the next time.